let's do the shadow of a cylinder in negative sun. Okay, I'm going to freehand the ellipses, which is kind of hard to draw. Let's say here, I'm going to do negative sun. So the horizon is here, and below that is an ellipse representing the top of a cylinder. Ellipses are not my thing, obviously. Okay, then coming down to the bottom like this, then this bottom ellipse would be more open than the top one. See, that's because it's lower down, so it has we're seeing into it more open. So here is the ellipse on the bottom. I'm drawing from an angle, so sometimes these things tend to come out a little bit slanted. I guess that'll have to be okay. What I'll do now is locate here a shadow vanishing point, and below it, the negative sun. So let's say right here, neg sun. Okay. I think this will work better if I move these over, because there's some other things I want to show here that are useful to know. I think by having it out a little farther, I could show you that the two tangent lines that I'm going to draw that represent the sides of the shadow, those lines will be one on the back and one on the front. You'll see what I mean here when I do it. This is the shadow vanishing point, and this is the neg sun, or we can even say source. So let's do this. What I want to do is draw the two sides of the shadow tangent to this ellipse at the bottom. So tangent means touching the edge of that ellipse. It's not quite good. Let's draw it a little better. Just draw a tangent line here, just touching the bottom of that ellipse right here. Okay, so it's touching here. Let's find a tangent line on the other side, over here. So you can see what happens. Because of this angle, one tangent is on the back side of the ellipse, and one is on the front side. So from those two tangents, let's make what I call tangent verticals, coming up this way and up like this. I just want to get this edge of the cylinder drawn too. So you see here I have a bottom and a top of that line, bottom and top of those two verticals. So I'm going to use those to help plot this cylinder. Also, another thing I'm going to use is the very edge of the cylinder itself. So what I'll do, let's just do these one at a time. So let's take this first tangent line, the top of it, down this way. This gives me a point right here. I'm going to sharpen the pencil a bit here. Let's then draw from the base, and this time, you see, these two lines here are actual shadows, but now I'm going to put some false shadows. This will not appear as a shadow, but I'm treating it as if this pole were making a shadow, that graphite line there. Now drawing from the top down this way. This gives me a little piece of shadow right here. So you see those two? This one was on the blue line. Let me sharpen this up just a bit. Okay, make sure we can see this clearly. Okay, right to there. The graphite line gave me a point here. Now I'm going to pick another arbitrary point here and draw another vertical right here. And I'll just do one. I think this is going to be enough. These verticals will be connected. When I make the connections down here, it'll form a perfect ellipse, or it should. Drawing from the base of this vertical toward the shadow vanishing point, then from the top of it, let's see, from the base, then from the top toward the negative sun here, I get a line like this. Oh, it's right in between the other two lines. That comes down to right here. Now let's get this other one. Drawing from the top of this pole, and from the bottom too. Drawing from the bottom toward the shadow vanishing point, a false shadow. Then drawing from the top toward the negative sun, giving me the length of that false shadow, which comes in right here. Now one more. Let's do this one blue one over here on the other side here. This gives me the length of the real shadow over here. Now if I connect those together, here's what. And you have to remember, this will be a perfect ellipse or part of a perfect ellipse. It won't be distorted. So just draw through these knowing that it's going to be a perfect ellipse. Well, pretending that was a little bit higher. It should look like this. It's part of a perfect ellipse. So drawing through these points and then coming back in here like this. So that gives me the shadow of a cylinder in negative sun. Let's draw one in positive sun. See if I have enough room here to show this. Let's move this over here. All right. Positive sun shadow. I think this will be big enough to be seen. One thing about, you've got to be careful about positive sun shadows because they tend to run way long off the paper usually. So I'm going to draw a horizon line here and a cylinder. We're seeing this cylinder from the side. So what's happening is that we don't really see either ellipse completely. We see the edge of it, but we're seeing the side of this cylinder. So coming down like this. And then the bottom, let's open it up a little more than the top. The reason why I'm doing that is because the bottom is farther away from the horizon. It gives me a more open ellipse. Okay, then let's see, shadow vanishing point. I'll keep it in fairly, well, maybe here, should work. Then I'm going to make the positive sun way up high. So let's get this lettering out of the way. Just try to see if this is going to work. I think it will. Should be okay. All right, this is the shadow vanishing point, and up here is the positive sun, okay? So let's then draw two tangent lines to the bottom of this cylinder here. I need a cleaner line here so I can plot this a little better. Okay, in a blue pencil, I'll make the two edges of shadow coming from the shadow vanishing point tangent, and then coming tangent to the, I better have this in dashed line here. Now understand up here too, that up here, this back line here is hidden. We can't see that. That's a hidden line. The visible line is here. And the visible line down here is here. But we're only seeing the side. We can't really see either ellipse, actually. Now, from the shadow vanishing point, tangent to the back side, back here, I have a tangent touching point right here and right here. One's on the front and one's on the back. So let's get the one on the front right here coming all the way up to here. And the one on the back makes a vertical up to here. All right? So maybe I should plot these one at a time as I do them. Let's start with the one on this far side over here. Draw from the positive sun through there, giving us the length of the side of the shadow right to here. Now this is going to be a false shadow. We're going to draw through the base of the side of the cylinder like this. Shadow vanishing point through the base here. Then coming from the positive sun through the top of that line. Now we have a point here and here. Let's do some others. Let's find a couple of arbitrary verticals. Maybe two more will be enough. So let's put two more arbitrary verticals in. And let's draw theirs here and here. Let's draw through the base of this this arbitrary vertical here. And then let's come from the positive sun or source through the top till we meet the line here. By the way, I should mention, when you get into positive sun, you may get distortion because we're getting pretty far away from the shadow vanishing point, or you may get a little elongation in this ellipse that happens here. So then drawing again through the base of, see, but there's this extra line in here. Drawing through the base of the 1, 2, 3, 4th vertical this way for direction, coming from the positive sun through the top for length to here. Then let's draw this last one, drawing through the top of this vertical. We have an ellipse that looks fairly elongated a little bit, let's say, more than it should be. It's not, it probably makes a pretty good ellipse, but you do frequently get distortion in drawing the ellipse from positive sun when you get especially far away from the shadow vanishing point. So now we've seen box with a negative sun, a overhang with negative sun. We've seen a negative sun cylinder and a positive sun cylinder.